long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
The Empire has won. The Purge has happened. The Jedi, now only a legend. A young man on the planet Braca, Cal Kestiss, is going about his day doing his job when a friend falls seemingly to his death, but Cal reaches and saves him. Few moments later, his worst nightmare is realized. An Inquisitor comes, a hunter of Jedi, thought all to be dead, comes for him, kills his friend, and a Jedi's journey begins.
Spoilers.
Na, 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 na.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You hit.
Yeah, you animal.
All right.
Honestly,
Hey.
Ben started a long, long time ago, and I went, oh my God, we're still talking about Star Wars.
Well, yeah, because this is our review special of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Yeah, whatever.
It's Star
The game
Wars
just
colon.
came out this week, and we're very excited.
It came out on my birthday, funny enough.
We
November 15th.
promised ourselves we would give us a time frame for when we can review video games because we all beat them in different
Speeds.
Because
So-
we all have lives, and also the holidays happened, and we
Here
all
we
have,
are.
and also we all work. So sometimes schedules be bad.
Who are all we?
I am Ben Magnet. This guy right here is Sparks Witty. This guy over here is Brandon T. McClure. And that dude who decided to open his soda can in front of the microphone is Ryan James Eliopoulos, Esquire the Fourth.
For those of you,
Comic King.
for those of you
I actually,
listening, we are also doing a video component to this.
we most certainly are.
which will be up on YouTube soon.
Yes. Or if you're already
Why'd
watching
everybody look at me?
us, I'm not looking at you.
Why is it my responsibility?
I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at the camera. But if you're already watching this on YouTube,
You're
then
looking
good
with
for
your
you.
heart, Ben. You're
No,
looking
I
with
am
your
not.
heart.
I am not looking
I think
with
your
my heart.
cat's trying
Sparks.
to turn on the
She'll be
stove.
fine.
That's right. It's cat. You can't see her,
She's
but
trying. She's trying
Cat's
to cook.
fine.
She's trying to cook some.
Ryan,
soup.
every time I do dishes in the washing machine, I like triple check to make sure Emma isn't inside it.
Oh man, I can't tell you.
scared she's gonna
I've been
jump up
making
on the
pizzas and I turn around and then she's just in the oven. I'm like, you do not belong in that oven.
so
Hansel
anyway,
and Gretel.
so Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. How we
Yes.
like it?
Yes, we are doing Star Wars Jedi Final Order Fallen Order.
Final
That's
Order?
The sequel's final order.
The third one, the end of the
final-
trilogy.
The final.
The last order.
The final order from Star Wars.
Unlimited
Skywalker.
power. Unlimited.
The next game will be New Order and then Final Order.
There you go.
So this is
Here are the rails.
This is
Here's
the
us.
this is the game set before Rebels, after Revenge of the Sith, probably in the same era that
Between
Before
3 and
Solo,
4.
probably around Solo, I would think.
It's got to be before.
much I'd say decently before.
I want to say it's 5
It's
years.
10. It's 10 years.
Oh, it's 10
The game
years.
establishes it is 10 years
Okay.
after the Purge.
10 years after the Purge.
Oh, it was 5.
So I thought it was 5 too.
I'm pretty sure it's 5.
No, it's 10. He's 10 years older.
Okay. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's 5. It doesn't matter.
All right.
I can look it up.
Pre 3, probably post 3, pre 4. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
Cal Kestiss is the white dude. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. So, what do we think about this game, Ryan? You have initial thoughts?
I think this game's really good. It's frustrating in a lot of points because I think it's trying to do too much at once. It isn't. It's not focused and it's a little messy. But overall, I had a really good time.
Sparks? Do you want to go next?
Yeah, I also think this game is really good. I like the story a lot. I feel like there are gameplay challenges that it just fundamentally can't get over, but they're not enough to ruin the game. And I also feel like some of the best parts of the narrative come a little too late in the game, in the sense that then the game just stops, and I'm like, oh, but these were the really cool things.
Yeah.
And now it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is 5 years.
It
You're
is?
correct. It is
Okay.
5 years.
Yeah.
That's why, because I was thinking of Rebel stuff because Rebels is 15 years.
That's before Solo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm riding solo.
Yeah. Fallen Order as a game where it's EA's first truly single player game. There is no multiplayer component to this video game at all. Every other EA game that they put out since they got the Star Wars license has always been multiplayer focused.
This is the third in 5 years. Come on, guys.
Yeah, this is their third one, and honestly, it's not bad. I don't think it's obviously not the best, but it's still a fun game. I have a few issues with it. Story-wise, I have no complaints, but I do agree it kind of where the really good stuff happens, it happens at the end of the game, which is a bummer.
I think this is EA.
Well, it happens way too late.
I think this is EA's best Star Wars game, but that's not really saying a whole lot because the other two are poorly made Battlefront games.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd agree with poorly made. I think just it not adhering to what fans of the classic games want.
Battlefront 2 is now in a really good state, and that game now is really good. It launched with middling results.
Yeah.
But they are not poorly made. They're, if anything, they have too much money.
Right. I mean, like, those games look incredible.
Those are the best looking games on the market.
Right.
Like, for real. Like, DICE, like with Battlefield, they just know how to make landscapes look real.
But this is Jedi Fallen Order. This is one of my favorite stories in Star Wars. It's set in what has quickly become my favorite era, which is the era between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. And it dives into a lot of like more Force mythology, mythology of the galaxy, and some politics of what the Empire is doing with the building the rebellion, things like that.
Rebellion.
I also found the opening to be really great as like a prequelist, because you see like the separatist starships and the Republic cruisers, and they're over a giant Sarlacc pit.
You find a Jedi. Not only that, you also find a Jedi starfighter on one of the ships.
You do, yeah. I love seeing the all that prequel iconography in the beginning of the game, and then
even peppered throughout, like when you come across clones,
especially
in different places,
Zepho.
or their old ships where they
Dead
were left
bodies.
behind. Yeah, I really like that.
Me too.
Yeah.
And it's the same voice actor
So,
from.
Part on Kashyyyk where you swim right through a clone gunner.
Yeah,
That was cool.
That
was
lot.
cool. So I just really enjoyed the scenery in that opening sequence, especially with the giant Sarlacc pit.
Is that Braca?
That was on Braca, yeah.
Braca, yeah. And that's where we're also introduced to the cat is trying to now take your picture.
The cat's going to be fine. Cats be cats.
Yeah, I really like the opening.
Me too.
I think the opening gets you into the story really well. I like the world a lot. It feels very much like the kind of opening you'd read at the beginning of a Star Wars novel.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that, the immersion of it. And when you, hey Emma, and when you first like dive into it and it's taking you through and you do all your motions and you meet up with your friend and then you fall asleep.
Yeah.
And then you're teleported into like, and you're like, oh dang, this game's gonna be something.
Honestly, I wish the game did more of that, because I feel like the really crazy story stuff happens in the beginning and at the end, and like the middle stuff, it's kind of not bad. You're kind of going to a bunch of different places.
Yeah, it's not really fetch questy, but at some parts it kind of feels a little fetch questy.
Well, it's almost like Indiana Jones. You're following like this Jedi explorer guy.
Yeah.
And you're just following his
his
escapades.
So I really like Eno Cordova's inclusion in this. He's a Qui-Gon Jinn. He's Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
He's a Jedi who believed more in exploring the Force and less in what the Jedi were leading into the Clone Wars. And he found this species of ancient Force users called the
Oh my
Zepho.
God,
or if you've read Dooku Lost, is like Lynn Casada.
there you go.
You're welcome.
Oh, yeah, like this.
This is very reminiscent of Mass Effect as well, because their whole thing is about a precursor race. That's funny.
Master Cephadias was also a Jedi like this.
Ooh.
So
Sort of.
yeah. So Eno
It was more like he got dragged along. Casada was his master.
Oh, okay. So Eno Cordova, he had an apprentice, and the apprentice is the girl that saves you. She's cut
Seer.
herself off from the Force. Seer, yeah. She's cut herself off from the Force because of what happened during the Purge.
Played by
Order 66.
Nicole Sullivan, who I only know from Mad TV. She was a comedian on Mad TV like 20 years ago. I don't know what she's been doing since, but she's now a Star Wars video game character, which is wild to see.
She's
Yeah.
good. She's
Yeah,
good in the
she
game.
is.
Oh, she's amazing in this game.
It's just like when Bill Burr showed up in Mandalorian as like that bounty hunter guy. I'm like, this is not what I expected you to ever do, and it's cool to see like that kind of casting.
Yeah, I agree. Cameron Monaghan is the Joker in Gotham.
Yes.
Also
Shameless.
Ian Gallagher, because when
Yes.
I'm playing this game, obviously I'm playing this and my girlfriend's watching me. She's like, "Oh, that's Ian from Shameless." I'm like, "That's Cal Kestis." But
Cameron Monaghan is a fantastic actor. I do not know that Gotham is the best representation of that.
Yes.
But he's a fantastic
It's
actor.
his most profile.
What makes me most excited is like this is an actor who like if they put him somewhere else in live action on a Star Wars, he'll carry it
Oh
well.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. So the story is really what drives me to this game. And honestly, there was a lot of points where I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to change the difficulty to story level and just follow the story, because I was much more engaged in the story than I am in the gameplay of it.
When I first
Which isn't necessarily bad.
No.
It's just a little clumsy.
When I first started playing Fallen Order, I had it on medium, And there were quite a few times where I'm in a boss fight or I'm trying to fight these enemies where I'm constantly dying and dying and dying. And then at one point I just like, you know what? I want to get through the story. I want to keep playing this. So I switched it over down to easy. And even when I switched down to the quote unquote easy mode, I still had a hard time.
Oh, damn.
There were still monsters and still boss fights where I'm like, oof, this is kicking my ass.
No, I never had a hard time on story mode. I was blowing through that game. That's why I made sure to put the boss level back up, because I was like, I want the bosses to at least be a challenge.
I started on the hardest difficulty because this is a Dark Souls-esque game where the combat's important and the checkpointing is hard and rigorous, and like you have to like earn your way to the next section. So I wanted it to feel like a real Dark Souls game. The problem is when you have a difficulty slider, instead of just focusing on one difficulty, I think it messes up all the stats. Because if it is too hard on the hardest difficulty. It is unforgiving, not in a fun Dark Souls way, in a way that's like, oh, you want it to be hard? We're just going to make it extra hard for no reason.
Right.
And I do not appreciate that at all. I wish there wasn't a difficulty. I wish it was just, this game's hard, you got to get good at it. Because then they can actually focus on making the combat good, where I think it's good 75% of the time.
I think for this game, they were primarily more focused on story.
Yeah.
Then don't make it a Dark Souls game where the checkpointing is as it is. Make it like a God of War.
No, I agree with Ryan. I think this game leaned a little too hard in the Dark Souls direction. Needed to lean more towards the God of War, because that's a lot more what I felt like when the game was good is what I was reminding me of is playing through God of War.
Yeah, sure.
I think you can still make interesting combat in that, but not try to be a Dark Souls game, because I don't think it excelled at that. And I also don't think a Star Wars game should be based around the idea of like just get good at it, because like some people who really like Star Wars just won't be able to, and I don't think that it should be held to that standard. Like Dark Souls has that.
No, I agree.
That's fine. But that being said, I just the combat would irritate me because I'm not like an incredible video gamer or anything, but I know how to do a parry.
Yeah.
And like I would parry and the parry would not respond the way that the parry should.
Oh man,
and that drove me up a wall.
I could not figure. There are times where I would parry by accident, and it pissed me off because I'm blocking. I'm like, because I'm looking online. It's like, how the hell do I parry? It's like, oh, just block right before the attack lands. And it's like, okay, I do that, and then the attack will register as a hit. I was like, no, but I blocked. And even when I hold down the block button, it's like, okay, you're still blocking. It's like, but no, I want to parry though. That's the problem.
Right.
I'm trying to get my parry down so I can wipe out these stormtroopers, which should be easy, but for some reason I'm having problems trying to master the parry, and I can't do it.
Once you get force pull, the stormtroopers become a lot of fun.
Especially because you get to pull them in and stab them with your lightsaber. Yeah. Did any of you guys were able to like freeze a laser blast in hand and pour? I've been trying to do that, but I can't seem to get it down. It ticks me off.
Freezing the laser blast? The laser?
Like when stormtroopers shoot at you.
Force slow.
Kind of like what you do on what Kylo Ren does in Force Awakens, the first scene.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. I was always.
You're not freezing it. You're slowing it down. But that does like hold it in the air for a little while.
And you could pull in a stormtrooper, just like throw him up against that same laser blast and insta kills him.
I do like the. I did feel like the. How you learn the new force moves and even the skill tree were effective. I thought those were easy and effective tools for the story as you progress through it.
Yeah.
I'd agree.
I did not max anything though.
Neither did I.
I almost filled my entire thing out.
I think I maxed everything. Yeah, I maxed everything.
I was just missing like the last couple like super force push or super force pull. Like I got almost all of it.
I loved super force push. The moment I could get it, I rocked that. I love that move.
Force push is also a lot of what I do like about this game is that it does emulate a lot of how. Like the Batman Arkham games, like this is how it would feel like to be a Jedi in some ways. Like you run up this thing. There's two people next to a ledge. Force push, and the game isn't going to stop them from falling off the ledge. They're going to let the fall off the edge.
There have been many.
That's awesome.
Many times where I'm going through a tube and I see stormtroopers and also just hearing the banter between some of these stormtroopers is hilarious.
Yes, that's true.
And then you just walk up and interrupt them by force pushing them off the ledge, and you hear him go. I was kind of hoping for a Wilhelm scream, never got it, but you hear him go ah.
So sometimes you've got the troopers that have the specialty weapons.
Oh yeah,
the dark troopers,
the purge
troopers. Thank you. The purge troopers who have the specialty weapons, and sometimes I'm crossing through the zone and I'm like, I just don't want to deal with you, and so I'll manipulate them into a space where I could just blow them off the edge. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. I get the experience either way. I'm blowing you off the edge.
Yeah. There was one time I want to say it was on Zepho when I got to the tomb on Zepho, where I'm walking, I'm doing like this whole maze thing in a giant canyon. and the scout trooper just turns and goes, ah, and I must have parried because I instantly just block his strike. And he's from behind a wall. So I'm walking up, I see two other troopers, and then there's the scout trooper. I block his strike and just instantly slice him in half. And then the other troopers are like, oh shit, and they start shooting me, and I just block their blasts.
Something I don't like about the combat, I don't think the double-bladed saber is as fluid as it should be. As just like the single blade.
Well, the purpose is like you're supposed to use a single for single fights, and you're supposed to use the double bladed when there's multiple enemies around you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess maybe
because I specifically like when there's like 7 stormtroopers, that double blade lightsaber kills them all instantly, dude.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
it doesn't
so
kill
good.
them all instantly. The damage is a little less.
But what I
with
mean,
the
it's
double blade.
easy to kill them.
It is. It's easy.
Well,
the
that's-
double bladed is easy for crowd control. That's what it's used
Hit
for.
Y twice and it does that circle move where like the lightsaber spins around you. It kills everyone
Yeah,
like
yeah,
so
yeah.
fast.
yeah, that's a cool move.
Oh yeah. I used that like a lot against the Night Sisters. Holy
Yeah,
crap.
I thought when I got the double blade saber, I thought I would use it more, but I never felt comfortable with it, so I generally stuck to a single blade.
Yeah.
I balance between both. I really like there's a skill you unlock where it's part of an attack move where you swap between them.
That's
Yeah.
so
and
good.
I really
yeah.
like doing that. So
Yeah.
I mastered that early on and
Hold down
very
A.
quickly chose what I wanted to do when.
When you can break the two lightsabers apart, at the
You
end
get
of the
that
game.
so late in the game.
You
Yeah.
do.
That's
yeah.
one of my issues is a lot of the better things come at so late in the game. Like you can't enjoy your new saber because it's
That's I think that's like my biggest like, and again I like the game a lot, but like I feel like it not front end. What's the opposite of like front ends? Like all the
end.
back end. I guess back end is like all the best stuff. Like you get at the end, like cool. Like I am a fully fledged Jedi. Game's over. And
Yeah.
then you just know new
Really,
game
you're-
plus. There's
You are
not,
knighted as a
You
Jedi.
can't get
and
back.
you're knighted as a Jedi, and then you go straight to the last level of the game, essentially. And also, because one of the stuff that kind of bums me out. Now, I'm one of those guys. Green's my favorite color. Green's my favorite lightsaber color. I was able to play green throughout my entire playthrough. But then later on, once you get your Kyber crystal, like 2/3 the way through the game, you get a multitude of colors, more colors that you'd never possibly imagine. In a lightsaber, in
I mean,
a
I can
Star
imagine
Wars.
9 colors.
Well, okay, yeah,
I mean, four
that's my favorite
four
color.
of them look the same to me. So
Yeah. Well, okay. You're colorblind, unfortunately. But you get cyan, you get magenta, you get. I mean, orange was premium content, sure.
Oh,
Got
I
it for
had
free, though.
magenta.
But still, you get more lightsaber colors than just blue or green.
The day that I was finishing the game is the day that the pre-order stuff opened up. So I had orange as an option when I went to Ilum.
Nice.
Yeah.
I stuck with green until cyan.
I stuck with blue and then I got cyan.
I really liked the scene on Elam. I thought that was a really good level.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I really liked going there.
Calling back to the Gendy series
Yeah.
a little bit. That this
100%.
This is your path to a true Jedi. I thought that was a fun level.
I don't think the Gendy series gets enough credit for all the things it introduced that
Hell
didn't
yeah.
exist in Star Wars before it.
I don't think so either.
I mean, like, that's not just on him. Obviously, other people were involved in saying, yes, let's make these things. But, like, his series is the series that did it.
Yeah.
But still, how pissed off would you think like hardcore Star Wars fans are? Is if they grinded throughout, like they completed everything on every plan until they advanced to the next one, or that they could, until they got another force power, and then they get to the end of or 2/3 of the way through the game. They now realize, oh, I could change my lightsaber color to my favorite color, and then the game's over in 2 hours later.
The collectibles I don't think are very good.
No, they're not.
I don't think so either.
Because I think of something like a God of War, where like you get armor that you can actually look at, and it's like actually adds to your stats. Or Spider-Man, where you picking up the backpacks is like actually gives you something meaningful. I don't need 30 different sleeve colors that you can barely see. I don't care about ponchos. Like
Right.
I thought, like 2/3 of the game, I'm like, oh, I keep going back to these planets just to pick up a hilt that I'm never going to use. And I
Right.
realized quickly, like I'm not going to 100% this game because it doesn't give me a reason to.
Yeah, the only
Yeah.
thing I really cared about finding were the stem canisters.
I got
And,
to 6, and then I was like, this game's. I'm having no problems with this game with 6, so I don't even need
Sure.
to get. I don't need
I
to
got
get
I got to 7. I was able to get to 7, and now I'm like, I'm going to power through this
I
game.
got the
Mostly,
6.
mostly, I specifically sought the stem canisters because usually the path to get them was the most interesting, unexplored part of a map, and I'm like, I want to spend time doing the puzzle.
Yeah.
Because usually they're hidden by a good puzzle. Like there's one on Zepho that's where the crash site is, and if you walk up, there's a rope, and you go back to an area, and you have to use the Force slow in order to get over like a bunch of barriers to get to a tiny cavern in the back and get a stem canister, and or the things that increase your maximum force and your maximum health. Those
yeah.
always had like the best puzzles. So I want to spend time with those.
Yeah.
But that's what I cared the most about finding, just because I'm like, I want to play the good puzzles. I want to play the cool parts of the map.
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah, totally get that. I one of my other issues is that there's really no post game stuff. So like,
Oh, no.
when I'm done with the game, there's no incentive for me to go back to those planets to just be like, oh, what can I explore? Because the creature villains I found to be uninteresting and at times too difficult. Personally,
I'll tell you what. I play a lot of these really hard games. So like, I didn't find any difficulty. I will say that so Respawn, they are a first-person developer. They've made Call of Duty games, and then they made Titanfalls 1 and 2. This is their first time done something like this, and I think it shows. They've done a really good first effort, but like the combat design for a Dark Souls type of game, you have to be really precise, and I feel like the game, it's not designed well enough to make like the parries work every time, or the creature designs. Sometimes they scratch so much you can't defend it.
Right.
There's nothing you can do, and
Right.
I take hits when I know I should not be taking hits.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's not so much difficulty. It's just bad design.
Even the dodging, there are times where I'm just trying to skirt away to like just avoid attack. The next thing I know, I roll and I can't, or even I roll into my opponent. I'm like, no, I did not mean to go there.
On Dathomir, like the first time you see like one of those Rancor creatures, like when you're climbing up the side, those guys give me so much problems, and I know I'm good at this game, but like getting hit when I know I shouldn't be getting hit. I'm like, man, this is, I feel how messy this is.
Yeah.
I can tell. This game's very, it's not polished.
No.
When you look at something like God of War or like Spider-Man, like this has so many technical issues. Like this game got rushed, and it needs 6 months.
So when you
of
say
polish.
there's polish, there's an instance when I was doing my playthrough that, like, I told you guys this in the car. It was on the final boss. Do we need to pause?
You're fine.
Okay.
Keep going.
I was on the final boss, and I was fighting Trilla, and her lightsaber glitched, and it was just floating around in the air. So my brain is thinking, okay, her lightsaber's over there. Maybe this is a glitch for me to win, so I can get an easy, just constantly hit her. No, her lightsaber was now invisible, even though it was on the corner of my screen, just spinning around, spazzing out, and I'm still getting my ass kicked. And now, because part of the Trilla's fight scene, you have to watch her saber moves so you know when to block, how to attack, where to attack, when she's resting, or when you could slow her down, turn around and whack her and kick her ass.
Whack.
But instead, now her saber is invisible, and I don't know what she's going to do. I'm
just
like,
double hard now.
Oh shit!
I had a really fun glitch. The glitch just never really bothered me.
Yeah.
Honestly, but there is and there is a sense of like, I'm just not much of a gamer, so there's things I just don't know. But when during the Order 66 sequence, when you're stuck in the elevator, which is a really good sequence, and you're stuck in the elevator, and the elevator doors open up, and your master kills the two clones that are shooting at you. He's not there when he kills the first clone, because he just hadn't rendered yet.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was kind of funny. Like, I'm just watching this clone get his ass kicked by the Invisible Man, and then he just shows up.
Yeah, there are many times, especially on Kashyyyk, where I'm going up on a turbo lift, and the rest of the mountains and the land just automatically everything stops. You see him render and pop in, and then everything's fine.
Yeah. Again, it doesn't take away from the game. It shows that this game needed more work.
Yeah, there are times even there's a hunter on Dathomir that I killed him in bounty hunter, but I had his droid partner to kill afterwards.
Oh yeah.
I killed his bounty hunter easy. Like, okay, I got this. And then I see his droid. He's constantly doing I don't know if it was his attack pattern or what, but I was constantly getting shoved into a corner where I couldn't dodge or heal.
That would put Cal in a corner.
Yeah, and I'm like trying to move and trying to maneuver, but for some reason it was like the same animation, like over and over. Like he was essentially spamming me.
Yeah.
When I'm like, I don't know if that's just the boss. I don't know if that's just the mini boss or the droid being programmed, or if it was
Sounds like an AI glitch.
or if it was a glitch. And of course, when you die by these hunters, you respawn, you get your experience back, no problem. But the hunters aren't there anymore, so you have to leave the planet, go back, and find them again.
I encounter those like the bounty hunters, like 4 times. I didn't realize that it's going to be the exact same model for bounty hunter every single time, because I just got that robot and that dude with the jetpack every single time.
Every
Oh
single
yeah,
time?
it's not. It's
Oh.
not.
It's not? 'Cause I got those 4 times in a
There are
row.
3 different types of the dude. There's the droid is the same, but the dude who will be with them, and sometimes they won't be with a droid.
Okay.
They are different.
just got unlucky.
One it has like a shield grappler, and they run at you.
Yeah, I thought that one too.
The other one is
I had a jet trooper with a flamethrower.
right. Yeah,
multiple
I've
times.
encountered that one, and then the other one was like a
I fought the shield.
sniper?
I fought the shield one. The only ones I encountered were the dude and his droid on Dathomir and the two siblings. I want to say siblings. They were dressed exactly the same.
I got the siblings
on Kashyyyk.
I didn't get. Damn. I guess
there's
got
like
bad luck.
There's like 15 separate units of them, and they are mishmashes of those models. But there are 3 fundamental models of what the bounty hunters can be.
I don't think the bounty hunter sequence works in the story.
It's just a time waster.
It comes out of nowhere and it doesn't affect anything.
It's really only there to. It's not there to affect the story. It's really only there to play into the notion of like, hey, you're being hunted. A bounty hunter could show up at any time. Let's introduce that concept, and that's what it's there for. But in a game where the combat is more fun to play, I would have enjoyed that. They just became annoying.
Like if there was like a bounty hunter aspect in like God of War, like obviously God of War has the Valkyries. Those are fights I sought out for. I'm like, I want to do these fights because obviously there's a reward at the end of it. Whereas these bounty hunter fights, I remember I'm going into a room, I'm low on stims, and I'm like, okay, I just need to get the next
they're meant to surprise
and they
you.
pop out of nowhere, and I'm like, shit.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
That's the idea,
design, though. That's good.
Right.
It's supposed to get you when you least expect it.
Right, and I think that idea is cool. It's just, again, in a game where I feel like I could strategize against the different types of bounty hunters and have like a lot of fun with the combat, that would be cool. They just, because of the combo duo of like droid and bounty hunter that it usually will be, it's not every time, but most of the time, it just gets cumbersome.
Yeah. And even then, there's really no punishment for you losing to a bounty hunter. Your experience and all your stuff is still there.
Yeah.
And also, there's no major reward for killing them all.
I wish that the story did expand a little on like, like it would be a nice even post game thing if like you went and like that was something left to do. You finish off the bounty hunters, you've cleaned up Grease's debt.
Yeah.
Even just that would be nice because they do acknowledge that that's like tied to Grease, and they have a nice moment after he's captured by the bounty hunters where Grease says he's sorry about that and everything. And I think that's a really good narrative moment, and that's about all it really serves to the story.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, going back to God of War again, it's not like a God of War one where if you beat all the Valkyries, there's like story stuff too. It's like, hey, this was a deal. This was a thing you need to do, and you did it. Good job. It's not just a trophy.
What do you get when you defeat Ogdo? Just like
nothing.
That sucks.
You
get like a journal entry?
No, what you get is you're able to open up a chest, and there's a Force Echo, there's a chest that you can open up.
Which one is Ogdo?
He's that one lizard thing with the big ass tongue.
The first like big alpha thing you find.
Oh, the Alpha Ogdo.
Yeah, the one on Bogano.
I just remember his name being Ogdo.
Got you.
Yeah, you get
you get a stem canister. You get a
no, you don't get a stem canister. You only get, or do you get a stem canister?
Pretty sure you get a stem canister
Because I didn't see one. Because you have a there's a Force Echo, and there's also just a crate with a skin or something inside of it.
So something I don't really want. Stim's cool.
Pretty much.
I'm done with ponchos. Too many ponchos. Yeah. I like all the BD outfits. I think I made
BD skins.
I made my Bantus look cool.
BD1 is great.
Yes.
BD1 is great.
BD1 is awesome.
BD1 is going to be in the new Dr. Aphra comic.
Before we talk about more narrative, I want to talk about gameplay only. Finish up the gameplay discussion. Sliding is the worst.
Yeah,
there's way too much of it.
I never had a problem
until you get force pull, like some of that. You
never slid off the cliff when you weren't supposed to. Never had that issue once.
Only once.
Oh, I think I have.
I was sliding so much off that. I was like,
I was all right at it.
All the time.
I was all right at it. I didn't do too bad on it.
That's good.
No, all the time. I thought the sliding.
I missed so many ropes.
Poor.
Like I thought I almost died just from trying to catch a rope.
Same here.
The force pull helps that a lot.
Again, you get that.
No, but this was. But I
So-
was trying to catch that rope without the force pull. I don't have
am.
the force pull yet, but where I need to go, I had to just be in the right spot to grab the rope, and I would be on that rope, but I would be pushing my L2 button, and I still wouldn't catch it, and Cal would fall down. I'm like, damn it, there goes another stim canister.
Titanfall 2, like the main thing Titanfall, the franchise is known for is besides the mechs is the wall running. Like they have really good wall running, and it's no wonder that there's wall running in this game as well. But when you transfer it to third person, it's just not it's not the same. Just doesn't feel as good.
The Kingdom Hearts 3 is another game that has a pretty decent amount of sliding, and I think the mechanic plays a lot better.
Oh yeah, I as somebody who recently has been playing that,
Yeah, the sliding was annoying, mostly because it's just in too many maps too often.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Too many places where, like, the moment that we're at that point on Dathomir and you got the jump and you jump up and then you fall down and you're heading to the swamp. And the moment I hit that sliding thing, I'm like, are you kidding me?
No, there's
Another slide?
the slide that annoyed me the most was the slide when the ninth sister was
Yeah,
shooting at
uh-huh.
you
On
on Kashyyyk.
Kashyyyk,
Because
yeah.
there are times where I knew I hit the jump button and I fell straight down to my death. Where I knew I hit it. I had more than enough time to get off that ledge, but the second I hit jump, straight down, just like fall straight off the ledge.
I had a good time with that one actually, and I like the ones where you have to slide into a wall jump and then.
Bless you.
Oh, sorry.
I liked it when it felt like it worked.
Yeah, so did I.
I bit my tongue.
Oh no. Let's see more gameplay stuff. I kind of do wish you got more of your force powers early on.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think the game needs to be maybe longer or anything. Just like just spread out the good stuff throughout instead of just being here and here.
I don't understand how like force jump is the last power you can remember. Just like fundamentally,
jumping
like
higher.
I remember how
Yeah.
to pull. I remember how to push. Damn, how do I jump a second time? Like, how do I make my jump better? I can do all these other things, but I can't jump good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think the force powers were learned, and you know what? More than that, just like after you learn everything, after you get your saber, make a longer end.
Yeah.
The parts, I don't know if you guys even bothered to deal with them, but the parts where it's the bars that are like to the side in a crack in the wall and there's like bars like this to the side. Did you ever figure out how to break those?
Where are you talking?
Zepho mostly.
I don't know.
You have to force push them, right?
No, you have to force push an object into them in order to smash them open, and it is
Yeah.
not obvious that that's the solution.
I don't think I ever did anything
You know
like
what? I
that.
think I figured that out.
There's like 4 spots of it, and it's not like necessary or anything, but like I spent a while because it's like marked red, and I'm like, okay, I guess I don't have that power. I did have that power, and I'm like, I don't understand how to open this.
Yeah.
What is the thing? And I had to look it up, and it's like, oh yeah, you got to force push the exploding plant thing on Zepho into it.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, for real? For real?
It's
That
not
is
li-
not obvious.
It's not like in Ocarina of Time where you see the bomb plants and the bomb plants are like, and even Navi is like, hey, those bomb plants look good. Maybe they'll work somehow.
Forgive me, I just didn't think that the exploding plant thing would break metal bars.
Yeah.
I didn't think that's how it would work.
You're not the first person.
it didn't give you an idea of like, oh, you could do this.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. Not at all. So some just design puzzle pieces that like that. They're never really the main ones that you need. It's always like side ones, but I did encounter the side ones and be like, well, this is frustratingly like confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one, I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you did. You said you went to the chamber by the crash site where the alpha was. Did you go into the back room and you had to come back through and the water and it's got the wheel turning?
Yeah.
How long did you spend trying to stop that wheel?
Well, I'll tell you how long it took me to get to the back room. A long time to realize, like, going back to what you're talking about, like, to get into that back room, I was like, okay, am I just supposed to come from the other way? Did I do this backwards? And it's like, and I looked at it, I was like, oh yeah, you're supposed to force push the floor. I'm like, why would I know that?
Right. Yeah. Sure. I get that. No, I understand.
Why?
Well, first I couldn't even get back there because I kept trying to fight that damn alpha,
Sure.
and he kept killing me.
Right.
Because there's a weaker version of that same creature out front of
Yes,
that
yes,
down
yes.
Republic cruiser. So I would fight that multiple times. I'm like, okay, I should know the patterns. I fight the alpha, and for some reason the alpha always
It hits like 3 times as hard.
yeah,
Because
and
of the big boy.
And it's like, this is not fun for me anymore. I get that's a game that is supposed to challenge you, and that's fine. But this is not fun for me. So at even one point when I'm trying to fight the weaker one, the AI for some reason just goes, "Oh no, you're gonna lose everything."
The combat with the creatures can be more annoying than anything else. It stops being fun.
Yeah, and right. I get it's supposed to be somewhat of a Dark Souls game, but there are times where a creature that I know the patterns of, that I should able to beat, somehow just automatically just like strings 5 attacks against me in a row, and I can't do
it's
jack
the
shit
difference.
against it.
It's a difference between like bad AI and just poor design. Like them trying to replicate a Dark Souls-esque model where this creature is hard to fight, but it's not tight. It doesn't have the tightness of a From Software game.
Because the thing is, you're saying you know the
Loosey-goosey.
patterns. If you know the patterns, you should be fine.
100%.
Yeah.
But that's not. It's just not designed well enough for that.
Yeah, and the thing is, I knew the patterns, and then all of a sudden, it's like, okay, it should be going to a slow attack, but then, or it should be going to like attack the right and block. Then I see the red aura, I freak out, and next thing I know, I get hit.
Yeah. So that room in the back, though, I was looking at that force wheel with the electricity on, and I'm like, okay, you got to be able to like stop it in just the
Oh,
right
is this
moment
one
and
where you
then
just
jump
cut the
over.
cord?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I got distracted because of the wheel has the
it's a
force control.
ruse.
Right, exactly. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't understand. It takes a while of me like trying different attempts at like, okay, this doesn't seem to make sense.
It's so much
It just
easier.
fundamentally
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. And I look over and I'm like, can I just slice the wire? But there's nothing that immediately calls your eye to that.
Yeah.
And things like that would really irk me. Yeah.
It's because it's not like it's like, ooh, it's like you found a secret. It's just like, oh, it's like badly designed and you don't know you can do this.
I don't remember if this area is even required. I think it's totally an entire area based around like extra puzzle shit.
The area with the alpha is
No. There's an area. I forget how you get there, but like it's under the crash site. Like you fall down a slide and you end up underwater and you're inside a Star Destroyer.
Yeah, the Venator, under the Venator.
Yeah. And you have
You
to
see all the
climb
dead
up all
clone
through
bodies
it.
and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
It's after you get the breather.
Is that story required, or
No.
is that just like fun
That's
extra
just
stuff?
like go get a stim.
No,
get
Yeah,
that shit
right.
done.
That's what I
That's,
thought. That's what I thought. I was gonna say. I hope everybody got to experience that because that was a really cool extra puzzle area where like you just fall down and like you do just fall into a sea of clone bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't-
and you have
Just
to
swimming
swim
past
through.
them.
You have
Yeah.
to swim past them, and you have to climb your way back up the broken down destroyer, like whatever it is, and you have to climb up really, really high. And there's all these other things, and I'm like, this is a really cool area to explore. Very unique, and I'm like, I'm glad I found this because. Yeah, I didn't think it was narrative.
Yeah, there are a bunch of those areas. Like once you get all the force powers, like it does. I guess it pays to go back and to see the puzzles that you can complete because some of those are cool, even if the rewards are not worth it.
Right.
Like I really like. Unfortunately, like I think the best like traversal puzzle stuff is at the very end of the game.
Right.
Like after you meet Vader. And you have to like, you're sliding, you have to turn into a wall run, turn into a double jump. Like you have to be precise. And I'm like, this is the kind of thing I wanted from the beginning.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's only at the
Or
end.
even like infiltrating that base is super interesting.
But
and
I
fun.
kind of
Yeah.
wish that it. I'm kind of glad that it wasn't like that because I don't think the design would have been good enough to hold up that
yeah.
through multiple challenges. But I wish that it was designed well enough that that's what you were doing, utilizing all of your abilities, utilizing them turn after turn after turn as you're going through.
Yeah.
I really wish that.
Well, one thing that kind of bummed me out is that like the rewards for exploring, they were all cosmetic.
Yeah.
They're all. I mean, yes, they were
Except once in a while,
Except
but yeah.
once in a while with the stim canisters, but the
or the
Essences.
increase
or the
increase,
force
yeah, the
essences. But I still didn't feel like after I got all my force powers. At that point, I'm just like, I just want to finish this damn game. I still like the game.
Yeah.
Do not get me wrong. I still like the game, but at that point in time, I just want to finish it. I just want to beat it. I just want to be done with it.
Especially because after that Order 66 moment, like I don't think the game could be better.
Well, the Vader stuff was really cool.
I think the ending is better.
Yeah?
I think
I disagree.
I think the ending level is personally I feel it's better. It's a lot more fun to play. It's a lot more engaging.
Oh, yeah.
To me as a level, I would love to be able to go back there and replay that level, which is unfortunate that you can't.
Yeah.
So stupid.
Let's talk. Can we talk about the story?
Yeah.
Yeah. The story shines in this game.
It better.
I love that the second sister. I love the second sister reveal.
Trilla.
Trilla.
Yeah.
Trilla.
I suspected it from the moment that Seer said that she
My apprentice
that
is
she
dead.
that her apprentice is dead, or that she lost her to the Empire or whatever it is she said, and I'm like,
Oh,
she's a freaking
It's the Inquisitor.
isn't
100%.
she?
I knew
Yeah.
it from the second that line.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's definitely
She's like,
foreshadowing.
Not in like when the reveal happened. I was like called it. I was like in a good job,
Yeah.
good job.
Yeah, it was like when the second seer said, "Yeah, my apprentice died." Did she though? I'm like that meme of Daenerys Targaryen. I'm like, did she though? Really?
I like the beginning of the game when. Do you remember your alien friend's name by any
Ooh,
chance?
Prof.
Prof?
Yeah, Prauf.
Okay, so Prof. So the Inquisitor is lining up all of the guys that you're working with. And you're Cal, you used a force, and they're here to like, we got to find a Jedi. We know a Jedi's here. And your good friend Prof is like, he steps up and he's like, I'm tired of the Empire screwing over all his hard workers, and they don't care about us. And then the Inquisitor's like, yeah, we don't, and kills him. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a really good touch. I saw what
It
you're
is.
trying to do. Did it work?
It did not work.
No, it just made a mess. But I think that's a really good introduction to the Inquisitors because a lot of people don't know about the Inquisitors. Damn, that cat is going, damn, way up there. Emma, you flying. The Inquisitors are so cool. They got introduced in Rebels? Star Wars
Yes,
Rebels?
The Inquisitors were introduced in Star Wars Rebels.
And then they were in the comic books, but the Inquisitors are basically like fallen Jedi, fallen Order. Evil Jedi who are like, hey, the Empire won, might as well work with them. So I think the Inquisitors are really cool.
Yeah.
I think Trilla's like
The
reveal.
Inquisitors are my favorite new addition to canon.
I would probably agree with you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think it's messed up that Jedi turned their backs on all their friends because they lost.
Well,
That's messed up.
they were tortured.
Yeah,
a lot of them
yeah,
were tortured.
Sears' description of like, and then this dark shadow. I knew if I'd stayed there longer, I would break too. And I'm like, Vader. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Ooh, boy.
I love this era because they refer to Vader as the boogeyman.
Yeah.
like nobody's quite sure he's real.
Yeah.
I actually like the fight scene with the ninth sister on Kashyyyk, where she's like yelling at you, like, I can't wait for you to experience the torture, the isolation, and when you finally break. I'm like, oh damn! So
And then
they
I
go through some shit.
Kicked their ass in the first fight.
Yeah, then
She hurt my bird friend.
Yeah,
I want the Mind Bird.
I want my bolt.
Well, thank God the bird lives.
True.
The Kashyikian giant bird.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear the lizard from Revenge of the Sith? The
Yeah.
I did.
I was looking for it. Where is it? Where? I thought for sure we are gonna ride one.
I like the planet designs for the most part.
Yeah.
I wish you could go interact, just even have something to do with that big dragon creature.
Dude,
on
I wanted
Romano.
to-
I kept trying to get close to it. I love that
Same.
part where you like walk under it and it's just looking down the hole at you, like,
Yeah.
hey, what up? And I'm like, man, I want to go hang out
Yo,
with
Little
you.
RVs too.
Yo,
And
part
you
of me-
can't. I've looked.
It's not possible.
It is
Part of me
impossible.
was really scared because when I saw that giant monster in the distance, I'm like, no, don't tell. I don't want to fight.
I was thinking,
because it was at
Dark
the
Souls,
It's at
yeah.
the very beginning of the game, and I was so scared. I'm like, no, I can't. I'm too underprepared. I'm gonna get my ass whipped, and then I just keep doing my thing. I was like, oh, maybe that's just there for ambiance.
If I had a giant.
Please God, let it be there for ambiance.
If I had a giant Dathomir
There you go.
bat.
Hey, that was fun.
I because the game introduces the concept of like being interactive and friendly with creatures, just like the bird
EVs.
creature. Yes, the
One can go on your ship.
and the big dragon, and hinting that Cordova at least had a relationship with it. I wish there were some kind of ability to like calm a creature rather than fight it. Maybe not every type of species.
Because the
some of them
droids, you
feel
can-
like
you
they
can have
definitely
droids eventually.
Yeah.
But you can't do anything with creatures. Yeah.
because like you can like, you know, there are some species where I can buy, oh yeah, you gotta fight those, like the spiders. I could be like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
you can't connect with them. But I didn't enjoy killing the rams.
oh,
The like ram
Yeah.
type of creature. I'm like, this feels
hated
like the
them.
kind of creature a Jedi wouldn't kill.
Yeah.
I hated
This doesn't
them.
feel right.
And I was just watching Rebels where like there are evil, monstrous spider monsters, and Kanan's like, if you don't fight them, they won't fight you.
right.
And I'm like, why couldn't there be more of that?
And I feel like I wish there were an option of that in Jedi Fallen Order, where like sometimes you can't pull that
you
off.
meant the Bendu.
Yes, he's met
oh,
the
I met the
Bendu.
Bendu.
The Bendu's
You mean
awesome.
Tom Baker, the doctor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Bendu is awesome.
Yes. But I wish that were an option because I think that's a fundamentally important part of Jedi is how they're able to connect with nature as well.
Yes.
And it's something we have seen even reflected in Rise of Skywalker, which I actually really enjoy that scene because I'm like, dang, that doesn't happen enough
Yeah.
in Star Wars, frankly.
And also-
and so I wish there were an option for that in the game. I wish there were a way to like calm, especially like the more peaceful looking creatures. And
That
just
would've
be
been-
like, yo.
That would have been nice because I hated fighting those goddamn rams.
Yeah,
they kicked my ass every single freaking time.
Just block.
Or
I
like the
did.
slug. I'm like, I don't need to fight this slug.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
weird. The spiders,
Yeah, no,
let's fight the spiders. The slug, I didn't want to fight the slug.
I totally understand what you mean because especially like Rebels does introduce the idea that Ezra through the Force can connect to the animals and calm them, like the wolves or the.
Well, it's I think it's fundamentally just hard in this game because you I guess like you can make an argument of where's the line because Ezra also has the part where he's looking at all the damage Saw did to the stormtroopers and he's like, wow, Saw is really ruthless. And I'm like, dude, you just murdered like 50 stormtroopers getting
They
here.
murder stormtroopers every episode.
Like I don't know what you're talking about, man. And so I feel, but I think when it comes to the creatures, I'm like, it's really cool that they're in the game, and I do think that there can be engaging fights with them. But I also think that there should be some acknowledgement of the way Jedi relate to nature, and I really wish that were something included in the game. I hope it is in a sequel.
You get to see the the holocron with Obi-Wan's message on it.
Yep.
From Rebels.
From Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing and everything.
I also really like the stuff on Dathomir with the Night Sister.
My favorite character, Marin.
Oh yeah,
Dude, my
Love
goth
Marin.
princess.
Another story element that comes way too late in the game.
Yeah, she joins your. Okay, so I don't know if I'm the only one, but they kind of, like her or Marin and Cal kind of have like this little connection thing, but then she's only on the ship for such a small time. It's like, no, let's let this relationship blossom and grow. Maybe a love interest,
Dude,
or not.
I feel like there's like an hour.
Well, they will in another
next
game.
game,
That's
yeah.
the whole thing. It's
Yeah.
like she joins the team to be in the next game.
Yeah.
And you
That's
feel that, and it's
unfortunate.
like, this sucks, man.
Yeah.
Why couldn't I have had like one more major mission that she could have gone with me on?
I love her. I love her banter with him.
She has such a dry sense of humor.
After she decides to join him, and he's just walking, she's just appearing in different places.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you gonna help me fight these things? Like, you don't look like you need help.
when you meet the fallen Jedi on
Malkos.
Dathomir,
What a
Malkos.
cool guy.
And he's been on. He was a Jedi who has just been on Dathomir too long, and the dark side has taken him.
And he promises the Night Sisters like that.
He's like, yo, I'll be your cult.
I'll bring you back to life.
kills them all.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I want to say it was Grievous because you get a Force Echo where it says General Grievous came and killed the Night Sisters.
Well, I think, and there's also an argument to be made that like Malakos it's a whole planet, and Malakos is in one section of the planet. That doesn't mean that all the Night Sisters were wiped out by Malakos, but certainly the ones in that area.
Yeah.
Again, watching Rebels and watching all the Night Sister stuff and like how they like take over people's bodies and stuff.
How they interact with the Force is akin to what we know as magic.
So seeing like these Dathomir people with like the glowing green eyes, like I just saw in Rebels, and I'm like, man, synergy is cool sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it really is, especially with the Night Sisters, because we know by the time that the Rebels show rolls around, all the Night Sisters have been wiped out. We're allegedly by the Empire, but
Yeah.
My favorite world to play through was Kashyyyk.
Same.
100%.
I would say that too, yeah.
Absolutely, hands down, it was my favorite world to play through. My favorite story on a world was Dathomir.
yeah.
Like the story of what you were encountering and what was going on in Dathomir is awesome.
Yeah.
I really like that Elam, that this game kind of confirms that Elam was a Starkiller base.
Yes.
That when the First Order came up to power, they were just like, there's already a giant hole in here.
Let's use
put
it.
some stuff in here.
Yeah.
Let's put a Death Star on it.
I think that adds the tragic backstory to the First Order, that
Right.
they're built off of the ashes of not just the Republic
Like
but
a
the
phoenix.
Jedi.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
I really like the conversational moments you get, whether by choice or in cinematic clips, with Grease and Seer. They
Yeah.
do feel like fleshed out characters.
When they're
They feel
standing
involved.
outside the ship, you need to talk to them every single time.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
I
Every
agree.
single time.
Yeah.
Well, when on Dathomir when you had to fight your master both
Oh.
times.
Yeah, so
I
let's
love
talk about the
that
flashback sequence. So for me, it had extra huge impact because the moment you got Jaro Tapal's saber handle, I'd equipped it, but I didn't think about it. I just equipped it because I liked the look of it best. And so when it's the moment when it got to the flashback and he hands the lightsaber over, I'm like, damn, that's why he looks this way. that's why it's because of him.
Yeah, I liked his emitter. I used his emitter the most
I can.
Yeah.
in my playthrough of the game. But what was I gonna say?
I use hazy and smelt from Last Jedi. That's my
I used
color.
that for a while, and then I had
Shout out to Rose.
When is it he has the visions of himself becoming an Inquisitor?
It's on Zepho. Oh no,
Yeah.
it's on
Near the end,
Bogano.
right?
It's after
It's right before you get the holocron. It's like
it's on Bogano. It's when you've already put the holocron
the
up.
Astrium.
In the
Right.
Astrium.
Yes, the
Yeah.
Astrium.
Astrium,
You put in the
right.
Okay, I just
Astrium.
wanted to remember what that was. Let's talk
wall-
about the flashback first.
Yeah, a wall moves, and then you touch the mirror, and it's
Yes.
Cal is seeing. Oh,
Let's talk about it after. I want to talk about the
All right.
flashback first.
Sorry.
So the flashback is really great, where you're seeing the moment of the Order 66 going into action. I thought that was a really nice way to play off all the flashbacks Cal's been having up to that point.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
You interact with clone troopers. Like they're your best buds. One
They are
gives you
your
a
best
high
buds.
five, and he's like, "Yeah, you go get that training, kid." And then 2 seconds later, I'm gonna shoot your ass.
And you remember from like Clone Wars that the Jedi were really close to the clones.
Yeah.
Like they were friends. They fought together. They were brothers. Most of the clone commanders were on a first name basis with their general Jedi.
Yep.
So it is really sad to experience it from another level, because we've already experienced it a few times, but from this other place of like, these people were on a ship in the middle of nowhere,
Right.
Yeah.
when their clones turned on them.
Yeah.
And they use the music from Revenge of the Sith,
Yes.
like the sad.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Really
Love it.
impactful.
The
Yeah.
music in this game is outstanding.
Well, yeah.
Yes, the music. I do want to shout that out because like most of the music in the game is not stuff from other Star Wars films. It is its own original stuff, and it's really
The main
good.
theme is
it swells
great.
up in really great moments.
Yes.
Really, really good moments, and I think that's really great music. But the use of the Revenge of the Sith Order 66 music is really, really good to make you feel the power of like this is this at that exact same moment.
He feels all the Jedi dying.
He does.
So who gets to feel that? Everyone?
I guess everybody.
Cool.
All Jedi.
The Force is
Different for everyone?
as powerful as the plot needs it to be.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah, yeah.
As much as the story guy decides.
The Force is fickle.
Yeah, but I think it's very incredible. It was very moving to me when he hands over his lightsaber, and I was like, yes.
Now,
is-
his species...
and then I refused to change my handle after.
Me too. His species looks very similar to Zeb from Rebels.
I thought that
Yeah,
too.
they
Yeah.
do.
but the eyes are different.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's got that nose.
he could be the same species, just different,
Yeah.
slightly.
Yeah. I mean,
there
Goro,
could be slight
Goro
variation.
has a species, and then there's like the cheetah version of him.
Yeah.
So like,
I really like the Jedi outfit I like the best is the one with the clone armor. So I'm
Yeah.
happy to see that in a video game. Fully
I also like
rendered.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. It's the closest I'll get to see it in live action.
I really liked Seer's revelation of like, yeah, I gave up my apprentice. I messed up. And I can't.
Yeah.
I've never forgiven myself. I cut myself off from the Force because of it. I think that's really good
Much
stuff.
like a certain Jedi.
Yeah, I thought about it.
When you come out of the flashback and Jar Tapal walks out of the smoke. Such a good moment.
Yeah.
It really is. It just plays really well. Like you kind of get the beats of what you're going through, but you're like, oh God, yes.
Yeah.
So good. And then you smash the lightsaber.
The plot of this game is you need to go find a holocron that has a bunch of names of young Force users.
Force-sensitive children to rebuild the Jedi Order, stop the Empire.
I will be 100% honest. I wasn't satisfied with the end of this game, where it's just like, oh, we're going to destroy it because no one deserves it. And I'm like, but I just did the whole. I feel like I didn't do anything then.
It is a really interesting place to leave it, where it's just like, not only are we not going to use the holocron, but it's because we're going to say they deserve to live out their own destiny.
And I like that idea, but it being the final nail in this story, it's like it ends with like kind of like a whimper.
Yeah, I think the decision about it is good. I just think the
Execution.
decision about it comes at a weird time because I think it's really good because it's motivated by talking with Marin. And she says, yes, and then these kids aren't in danger until you will put them in danger by choosing them. And I'm like,
kidnapping them. Yeah.
yeah, and she's like pointing out like how their own histories like we are
hypocrisy.
choosing to make them be hunted. We are choosing
Marin's
that for
awesome.
them. And I'm like, dang, that's really good.
Yeah.
That is a really good angle and a good reason to not pick up these children.
Like the second she questions, like, "Hey, if you can't get the holocron, then these children are safe." And he's like, "Well, if we get the Empire's going to, but if you destroy the Astrib, the Empire can't get it either."
Right.
So
and Cal's
they're still
decision
safe.
and Cal's line about it when he makes the decision, like their fate is left to the Force, is the best way to end that. I just think you're right. It's just the fact that is the punch note at the end of the game that it's like that feels a little weird. Like maybe we need to do one other thing or say something else.
Or have just like a final scene that's not that's not the final thing in the game.
That's not just like all right. Now what?
Yeah, but him getting
The end.
knighted is really good.
Yeah.
Seer using that Inquisitor lightsaber to F dudes up.
not just
Cool.
that.
I love how unstoppable Vader is.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
You can't.
Don't even turn and look at him.
No,
Don't even do it.
I did that once.
I did too.
I was like,
I just
"Where's
wanted
Paul?"
to know. I just wanted to know. I'm like, if I turn and try and do something, what'll happen? And it was just like, oh, you did.
He was just already there. I'm like,
Only
shit.
once did I try. It was like right when after he kills Trilla. I'm like, okay, if he's the final boss, great.
Avenge us.
But then I am so screwed because all my stims are gone. Trilla kicked my ass. I barely got out of that fight alive. Ooh boy!
The end of Rogue One starts happening.
And then I swing my saber. He just blocks it and just starts force choking me. I have to pull that thing to distract him. And I'm like, nope, I can't fight him. It's
a good moment.
I need to run.
Well, it's
I
really,
agree.
it's really awesome because the game thinks that, okay, guess I'm fighting Darth Vader now, and then when you do, and you can't, and you're like, okay, guess I'm running for my life.
You
now.
realize
Yep.
after your first swing, this is not happening.
Yeah.
This is not going the way I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
And
right.
also, one thing that kind of helps because every time you fight one of those bosses, their health bar pops up.
Yeah.
And
His, he didn't have one.
No, I swung at Vader and no health bar showed up. Like, oh, so I don't have to fight him.
And
I need to run.
It's really great because it puts you back in that mindset that they are in Rogue One and Rebels.
Yep.
That nobody in the Empire is sure that Vader even is real.
He's the boogeyman.
Even Cal
He's the boogeyman.
Like
He's Michael Myers.
Yeah.
He's seen as he was just described. He's
Space Michael Myers.
He's just described
shape.
to Cal as a long dark shadow. This is not a man. This is a creature that shows up in front of Cal Kestis, and you can't fight a nameless creature. It's just not going to go your way.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
And that goes back to like when he shows up in Rebels, and you look how they talk about Mustafar. It's where Jedi go to die.
Yeah.
When you go, which I'm really bummed that we don't. The Inquisitor's place isn't on Mustafar.
I thought because you go to the planet and then there's a red planet next to it. And I'm like, oh, is this how we get to Mustafar? No.
No,
Yeah.
no
But
Mustafar.
I like but in Rebels when they talk about Vader and they see Vader and they can't stop Vader, only Ahsoka can.
Yeah.
Because
and even then, she has trouble.
yeah. I love the idea that Vader is this force that
Yeah.
just can't be beat, and it really puts you in this really cool mindset. The first swing you throw, and you're just like, shit,
Yeah.
I gotta go.
It is unfortunate that I think a lot of people, myself included, it didn't ruin it, but they did have it spoiled because one of the more recent trailers straight up shows Vader in it, and he's not in the game enough to warrant that. That
Sure.
is cameo
No, I
at
agree.
best, and they ruined that cameo.
I was very happy to have avoided it.
Good.
until
Yeah.
the moment.
Still super great, and like I love like at the end of Halo Combat Evolved where like everything is like just getting destroyed around you. You're just trying to survive.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's how you feel.
Yeah.
Running from Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's just pulling shit. You're like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like it's really tense, and like I know I'm gonna survive, but like
Right.
I felt it. That was good.
I thought what was so great about his reveal is that it could have been you're seeing Trilla talk and then you hear the breathing. But that's not what they do. They do Trilla talking. She suddenly gets choked up, hesitates. There's a pause.
and then it's
And then you hear the breathing, and then you see him. And I'm like, that was so much more effective. That was so much more scary.
Yeah.
I was
He straight up
trembling.
pulls a Jason Voorhees in this moment when you're just like you're away from me, like I got this. I'm free. Open the door. He's in front of you.
Right.
it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh.
Shit.
Like you're on the turbo lift, you're like, okay, I'm safe. Surprise, bitch.
I love the moment. My favorite, like I love the Dark Souls games and like Sekiro because like I really enjoy doing one-on-one combat with a really tough enemy and like you have to prove your worth. I almost wish you had a chance to fight Vader. You can never win, but like you go as long as you can. But it is more impactful after the first swipe. No,
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna let you pretend you have a chance.
Yeah.
It works just as well.
Right.
Yeah. I agree. I think the Vader thing is sick.
I really like Cal's visions in the Astrium.
Oh, I love
with Trilla talking, where
love
he
that.
ultimately ends up seeing himself as an Inquisitor. The way you fall down into that and it's dark, and then you turn on your lightsaber and it's red.
He's got the
Yeah.
sweet outfit on.
You're in an Inquisitor You're in an Inquisitor.
Also,
uniform.
nice visual callback to the mirror that Rey sees in the Last Jedi.
Yeah. And the force back that not the force forward, I guess that what's his name? Anakin has on them in Mortis.
Yes.
You know, you
yeah.
go back-
No, I'm with you. Yeah.
You got something like that with the Inquisitor stuff.
Yeah, I really
love the younglings.
seeing
Oh,
all the
yeah.
younglings and then him calling him master. Yeah, that's what makes the ending. That and
the
Marin-
little Greedo child.
Yeah.
No, but all of them just like talking, and then you see the troopers hunting them and shooting them, and that combined with Marin's thing makes me feel like no, the choice is good. It's just the execution that
Yeah.
feels
Yeah.
weird. A
'Cause-
weird note to end the game on.
I mean, it's really cool because you at first see this giant Zepho sage tell you, it's like, we effed up. We had our...
It's so weird.
Yeah, it's like, we had our hubris. Our species is going to extinction, so learn from our mistakes. And then you see Cal training this next level, this new generation of Jedi, and then it just goes from bad to worse.
You know what it is? It's because it doesn't feel like if it were a season of Rebels or something, it doesn't feel like a season finale. It feels like mid-season.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like even a complete arc of the story it was doing because you've just introduced Marin. You've just gotten all your force powers. You have just made these important decisions and now you're ready to do the next thing and you just encountered Vader. Now you just broke into an Inquisitor base and now the game just stops.
Yeah.
Going back to gameplay real quick, there's something that I found really fascinating that they just completely abandoned. There are very few dialogue choices in this game. There's
there are.
There's
Yeah.
like 3 where it's just you could choose 2 different things, and it's never it's not for any morality, like good versus bad, like a Mass Effect, and it doesn't seem to impact the story. It's just like, why even have a little bit? It seems like don't put it in at all. Like,
it honestly
weird.
feels like a mechanic they introduced and then backed off on, but then just had.
We can't
pieces
commit
left
to this
in.
dialogue choices.
Right? Yeah.
I just found it really odd, like because
No, I agree with
it
you.
happens like twice, and I was waiting for more to happen, and it never happens.
Right.
It's just odd that it's even in there.
Okay, I had to be sure. James Earl Jones does not play Darth Vader in this game.
No, it's a guy who's been voicing Vader in video games since like the 90s.
His name is Scott Lawrence.
Cool.
Yeah.
He's in Star Trek Into Darkness.
He's been
I
the voice
recognize
of
the
Vader
actor.
for a very long
He's like
time.
he's a character.
Oh, he's
actor.
Jarek Eager in Star Wars Resistance.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. Oh, and Vader Immortal. He's Darth Vader in that.
Yes.
Psh, cool. Psh.
Cool.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, my favorite stuff is Inquisitor stuff, the Trilla stuff. I buy her I buy her redemption at the very end. Like she dies immediately. Like it's Avenge Us is
yeah.
a really
Yeah.
nice way of saying like I forgive you.
I'm like this because of him.
Yeah.
Run. Avenge us.
I just love how Cal looks up to Vader and he's like, "Who's that?" And Sears all just, "It's him."
Yeah.
You don't get a name. You just
She doesn't know his name.
no.
She just knows a shadow.
Yep. And
I like Malicos a lot. I think his boss fight's really fun. I really enjoyed
once
his
I got
fight.
used to it, his boss fight's fun. I really I had fun with the giant bat boss fight.
Yeah.
That was a fun one.
That was a good one. That
Yeah.
was a good animal fight.
And then it turns
Creature
into
fight.
like
And that's where it feels like
Yeah.
I can't communicate with this.
and then
Yeah.
like it turns into like a cool like adventure sequence like you're climbing away from him.
Yes.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Like you're
I love the
flying.
once you get the climbing gear from the. It's really funny to watch with like spider up a wall.
You climb like Knuckles the Echidna.
Yes, you do.
He's so fast. Yeah.
Yes. You do.
What's your favorite fight in the whole game? Vampire Bat?
I don't like that one that much.
I like the Malicos fight a lot because it feels like this is what I was coming to this game for, is these epic like lightsaber battles.
Yeah.
I think probably the first fight with Trilla. Not
Is that the one
first
where
fight.
you
No,
automatically
the
lose?
second
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. I also like that.
Where BD saves you.
Yes, I do
Yeah.
like that one as like referencing the Vader thing from later. I actually do like that. Like you do have a chance to fight Trilla, but you can't win.
Right, yeah. It feels like she's always got the upper hand, but you're doing something.
Yeah.
I liked that fight too. I think it's probably the first fight with Trilla for me. If not that, I also like the Malicos fight.
I just like that character, and I love when he takes his robe off and he's like covered in scars that he's made.
I
He's
do
like,
too.
Yeah.
I'm evil, baby. He's
Yeah,
got cool lightsabers.
he does.
I like the. I've always liked the idea that more Jedi survived the Purge, and the stories that come from that. How they survived, what they did to
I'm
survive.
the old master.
Now that I know that Cal Kestis was running around in there, I hope the sequel has Kanan.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really cool. You know what I want to see? I want to see the remaining young Jedi, the ones that were Padawans during the Order 66, the ones who lived.
Oh, I was about to say Anakin killed them all.
No, the Padawans who lived.
Master Skywalker.
And became, Kanan and Cal. Let's form a band, guys. Let's kill the Empire. Let's go. Just go to Coruscant. You got 5 Jedi against 1.
So there's so many similarities to Mass Effect, right? If Mass Effect 2, which is the Suicide Squad equivalent, if they make a Jedi Fallen Order 2 the Suicide Squad, let's just go kill the Emperor, and just make it like Elseworlds, kind of like Force Awakens does, or Force Unleashed does.
Republic,
even better.
Republic Commandos, but with Jedi going to kill the Emperor.
Even better. It's Reach,
Yeah.
and you're gonna die at the end, and it is
Yeah.
canon.
Yeah, because then where's Cal?
And
He
like
dies. Yeah.
you fail, and like Kanan could be part of it. He will be the only person who escapes, but you're not playing Kanan.
That'd be so good. That'd be so
but
dope.
Kanan will escape, and this is why when we get to him in Rebels, he's like, you can't just fight the Empire.
Luckily, this game is sold almost 10 million copies.
Yeah.
It's one of the fastest selling Star Wars games next to Battlefront 2.
It's a really great addition to Star Wars canon.
Yeah, and
is.
I hope that this game, since it's making all the money and it is pretty well received, that they give them time to develop on this, because this game is rushed in a lot of gameplay ways that does hurt it a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But the story's still really good, and I just can't wait to see them like yo man, we really execute on this idea like really well.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the sequel.
Thank goodness that the story was strong. Another gameplay thing I know we didn't bring up here, we talked about it before, is I don't like. Don't give me an option of what planet to go to if there's clearly a right choice.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Just have me go there. Like, I don't need to play this. Oh, can I go here? Oh yeah, just to find these 2 boxes and then you're done.
'Cause you
I don't
can't-
need to
you
do
can't
this.
do anything
I don't
else
need
there.
to do this. Just send me to where I need to go.
I told you guys I went to Dathomir first instead
Yeah.
of Zepho. And I went as far as I could before I had to
Which
be
is
like,
not very far because you clearly shouldn't go there first.
Yeah, so I went as far as I could, and I was just like, "Hey, this is where double jump comes in." I got
And it's like, why even let you?
Yeah.
So stupid.
The panic
Anyway.
picking you didn't really need until like towards the end, honestly.
I really like the inclusion of Saw Gerrera.
I did
We
too.
haven't touched on it much in this.
Okay, that's not my favorite boss fight, but it's my favorite action sequence when you're climbing up the side of an AT-AT, take control of it,
Yeah,
and start
so
blasting
good.
away the Empire.
That's a really good
It
I
scene.
wanted
feels
more
great.
moments like that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Saw's inclusion was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And again, now that I've watched Rebels, like I've seen Saw's like progression from like militant guy to extreme militant guy. It's cool to see every iteration.
Right.
Yeah.
And each time you see him, he's a little bit more machine.
More robot, and then in Rogue One, he's just like, I'm a robot, baby.
Yeah.
Nice. Deception.
Ugly buggly. Were there any ugly bugglies in this game? No, there's not.
No.
There was Ogdobogdas, though.
But I do like it the second time you go to Kashyyyk, Saw is just like, yeah, Saw just gave up.
Yeah,
He
he's
just
gone.
bailed. No, he's not a good person. Is what they're trying to.
I remember
establish early
when
on.
we first started playing, Ryan, you had a puzzle that you weren't sure what to do. It was
Oh.
just not obvious to you how to solve the
The
puzzle.
Zepho temple with
Yeah, yeah, with the air temple.
air and the balls. After
Oh,
I
yeah.
beat it, I got stuck for an hour trying to get out of that place because I thought there was something I missed. And then I removed one of the spheres, which just effed everything up. So then I had to like redo the puzzle to get
Right.
to the end.
Yeah.
And that was super frustrating. And I'm like, it could have just been me being aloof, but I'm a gamer guy. So like, I feel like
Right.
it should have just been clearly. Here it is.
That's why I wanted to bring it up, because like you had a hesitant moment with it, like, and I didn't have that encounter when you described to me, but
Yeah.
I totally understand how you could have.
Yeah. Mhm.
And I'm like, it is not as intuitive in its
yeah.
puzzle design as I feel like it should be. It is not always as clear as to where your next step is. And if you are missing a piece,
Yes.
it is not clear where that missing piece could be.
I had to retrace all of my steps again, and I did that whole puzzle. And then I was like, oh, I just got to do this thing, but like it clearly wasn't super obvious.
Yeah, I forget, but there are a few puzzles that even I was like, how the frack do I do this? What do I need to do? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And then finally, somehow, some way I figured it out. But there are times where it's just super frustrating.
I really like the platforming stuff where you had to pause time. Anytime
Sure,
there's like the
me too.
rotating windmills or
Oh,
like
yeah.
the spinning disc, like
I really
love all
like that
stuff.
too. I never got tired of using that mechanic.
Same.
Oh, there's this one time in the swamps where I'm trying to force pull a ledge and then time stop it and then jump up to it so I could climb above it. There are times where I guess I was just a little too far away, but when I got closer, it wouldn't properly force pull it, and so it's just
So another like good example of a fun puzzle was the one where you have to go through the like cavern walls and force slow the like pieces that are coming out.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
If you go back up, so once you get over the top one, if you go up, there's like these sticks standing on the cliff. You can cut them with your saber, and you look down at where those things are coming out, and there's an essence on top. And once you have all your abilities, all your abilities, you can get to that essence by using like a combination of them. And I was like, man, this is cool.
That-
Like,
I
this
want-
is a good puzzle.
Yeah, I wanted all that stuff. I wish it was just more spread throughout the game instead
Sure.
of truncated. at
I
the end.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, I would have been really happy with a longer game. I had, if you guys remember my Rise of Skywalker review, I was pretty disappointed in the Rise of Skywalker, and I was feeling pretty disappointed in the franchise in general. And then The Mandalorian ended, and then this, and then I beat this, and it was kind of this 1-2 punch of like, oh, you know what? No, there are still stories that I am interested in this universe.
There's still plenty of good Star Wars out there.
Yeah, and it,
Yeah.
it was nice to just kind of be reminded that, like, Star Wars as a lot of people like bemoan how fast Star Wars has become, but I think it's really important to know that there's always going to be stories for you within the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, I've never been a person who's felt like Star Wars needs to be more limited in scope. I'm like, go vast, go big. There's a lot of places we can explore and a lot of stories we can tell that don't need to be the typical stories we've done. There's
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
room for it, as long as you keep true to the things that I think are in the nature of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Things related to the Force, things related to the way the world operates, the way that
Rebel
scavengers and things like that operate. The idea of the frontier, if you're at the right era, or the idea of the Republic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that was really nice to be reminded of. And I do think the story is very solid.
I think the story is what makes me like the game as much
Yeah.
as I do.
Oh, yeah.
The game is still fun to play, but it is driven by its story.
100%. Yeah.
I hope we haven't seen the last of the Inquisitors.
I hope
There's
not.
no way.
The Ninth Sister's not dead.
Nobody.
Absolutely not.
Nobody.
Sure.
I highly doubt that they killed the Ninth Sister in this game without making it clear to us they killed the ninth sister.
Especially when they
game.
kill the second sister.
Right. I do think there's more to come with the Inquisitors. I think there's more to come with this crew, and I want to see more with this crew. I want to see another adventure with Seer, with Grease, with Marin,
can you
with
imagine,
Cal,
like,
with BD1.
the Rebels.
BD1's a dope droid.
The Rebels
Yeah.
crew and the
love
Mantis
BD1.
crew. The Ghost and the Mantis.
Oh,
What a team. What a team.
I don't feel like you can have them meet directly, but I do feel like members can cross.
Well, I mean, like, you run into Hera at a starship or something. Like,
Right. I just mean like when the Rebels crew is together, I don't think that they could ever meet this crew.
Yeah,
And it not be like, why aren't you guys banded together?
true.
But I do think that there's opportunity for Kanan to show up. I do think there's opportunity for someone like Hera or even Sabine. Or even Zeb.
Yeah.
Zeb.
Hell, this age doesn't matter with those monsters, I guess.
I mean, there's Afra also.
Make it whatever you want, really.
True. You're 150.
I'm
You
trying
look
to
great.
see. Okay, so they did introduce a 10th brother. There was 6th brother, Grand Inquisitor, 7th sister, 2nd sister.
We got plenty more numbers to go.
9th sister. Yeah, plenty of numbers. We got plenty of numbers to introduce.
I'm hopeful for more. I really am. I hope that they'll take the time. We'll also be on new consoles by then, so hopefully that'll help.
Again, this game sold insanely well, so it's definitely gonna get a
Ryan
sequel.
and I were talking about this the other night, and I was saying that I don't feel like, and I really hope they don't dive into it, but I don't feel like you can do the typical God of War thing where you take away all your abilities at the top of the next game.
God, I
think it would
hope not.
fundamentally feel stupid in the world of Star Wars, where like I just remembered how to use all my Force shit, which I can accept as trauma after what happened on Order 66, that you had to remember these things. I can accept that. But once you've reconnected like Cal has through the game, you can't just take all that away again. So they have to find a way to make the gameplay feel creative and like new ways for you to expand further while having the base powers that you started with. Like you don't have to have the strongest push and the strongest pull options that you had at the end of this game if you increase your skills in that way, but you do need to have basic force push,
Just
basic force pull, basic jump. You need to have those things,
Yeah.
or it just feels stupid.
And I told you, just do what Arkham City did. You start the game with almost all the stuff from the last game, but you just get new stuff. Like you get Mr. Freeze's gun or you get this other stuff. So
Which
like,
is
but-
totally fine.
Yeah.
But also what I really liked about the Arkham games is that it's in the story that when you get thrown into Arkham, they're taking shit away from you.
yeah, it's just different when like you have inherent like force powers. Like,
Yeah.
I can't.
You can't just be cut off from the Force again.
Yeah,
God
you
of
can't-
War did it a lot. You can't
use
do it in
your-
every game.
They
To use
constantly-
your Batman analogy or Arkham analogy for Arkham City, at the beginning of Arkham City, when you're thrown into Arkham and you don't have your powers or your abilities, you still kick the Penguin's ass.
Right.
Well, I mean, he is a short king.
When
Yeah.
my example was like when I play God of War 3, I love God of War 3, but I roll every time at the beginning when it's like, and you lose everything you gained a second time in the last outing, and I'm like,
yeah,
cool.
the way they Metroid you
Noted.
is just
Great, and I don't feel like you can do that with force abilities, especially not recovered the way Cal did.
I agree.
I really hope if we get a sequel, they're not going to Metroid us.
They're not.
Because if they do, it's like really.
They're gonna Batman us. Don't worry.
All right.
Especially because it takes so long in the game to learn these powers.
Oh,
Too
yeah.
long.
Too
The game's
long.
basically over. Like when you finally get that last power.
That's
Yeah.
what hurts it so much
Yeah.
about not having New Game Plus, where like maybe I just want to play this story again with all the abilities for fun,
Or
And
you
I-
want,
yeah.
because the story is what I value.
or you want to replay the game with your favorite lightsaber color.
I generally like. I don't think
For
the
sure.
combat's perfect, but like I am a guy who likes this type of Dark Souls-esque combat where it is like single player, like single. And I would love to play the game on a harder difficulty with all of my stuff unlocked, so I can try to do that.
Or even if I just wanted to play through the story to have Megan sit there and watch it with me, but not have to do all the puzzle searching, not have to do all those parts, and
Yeah.
just be like play through the story and get through the
The-
heart of it and have all my abilities.
Yeah, and
the
not
new
have
game
to-
plus. The new game plus was the best thing about the Arkham games.
God of War has a new game plus.
Yeah,
most
when
games
when you
have
played
it.
those first 3 Arkham games, when you go through them, yeah, you get all your shit and that's fun. But going back through it when you have all your shit,
Even Mass Effect has.
I mean, even
has
like
new
that's
game plus.
really great.
Kingdom
That's when
Hearts
you really
3
feel
put-
it. You feel it.
Kingdom Hearts 3 put in a new game plus. If you get the ultimate weapon, you could start a new file on a harder difficulty, and you have the ultimate weapon with all the abilities ready to go right then and there. You just need to
wonder-
level up yourself.
I wonder if because the game is doing so well, they'll patch it.
So yeah,
Because
well, who
God of
knows?
War got new game plus after it came out, and a lot of games do get patches like months later that do add
What
it.
would be cool is if they patched it once the new consoles drop. Because
Probably.
it's going to be a while till we get the next game, and I'm like, if you could patch it for the new systems, so that like if you are playing it Xbox One, but you got the Xbox One X and you want to play it on there, it's patched to look better on that game, play better, and you have new game plus.
Yeah.
So people who already have it can revisit it and get those perks.
There's not at least as far as we know, there's no DLC planned.
Not at this
which
moment.
stinks because I would love some story content. More of this.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
But there could be.
It's just a bummer that it just feels short. I just feel unsatisfied when the ending is over.
I don't even feel like the game, like the time it takes to play the game is short. I think it takes the
just
amount of
takes
time
too
I would
long.
prefer to play through a game. The story itself takes too long to get to its point.
It gets too long to get to the point where I want to be at the game. Like once I get all those force powers again, like the game has like an hour left.
But like
Maybe.
the actual runtime of like the average runtime of the game, I'm like, no, this is about how long I want to invest in the game.
Yeah.
I just want the story to have
I
picked
put
up sooner.
I don't know 20, 25 hours in probably. I played it a decent amount.
Yeah.
That's no small potatoes.
Right, I don't want like another 12 or 13 hours of gameplay that's like required of
Yeah.
it. I just wanted the story to pick up sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I think if the treasures were more, if they were more valuable, if they were worth something more than just cosmetic changes to go get, I probably would have explored a lot. Because when I first started exploring, I was like, oh, cool, I want to try and look at all this stuff, try and get all the treasures, the chests. And then after a while, I'm like, if these are all just cosmetics and they don't help me in any way, then what's the point?
But again, Ben, like if you think of the Spider-Man costumes, like even though they had the mods, like you didn't have to use those mods.
True,
But
you
the
didn't.
outfits looked awesome, and you
Yeah.
see a lot of it. You don't see the lightsaber.
Exactly.
It's hard to see.
And
Well,
the
you don't
poncho
also you
sucks.
don't
The
see
poncho sucks.
They do.
Yeah, the ponchos are like whatever.
I think a couple of them are pretty good. You guys might not have unlocked them, but I do think that there are a couple that are decent.
I'm
not
sure-
that that's worth looking for. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
just saying that not every cosmetic design was bad,
But right.
I agree that most of them aren't cool.
I just wish.
But
that-
Ryan, going back on, sorry, Brandon, going back on your Spider-Man thing, when you found the backpacks, you got XP. When you got the costumes, you got XP. You did all this stuff. It's like, hey, you
made it
worked,
worth your while.
You worked to do this thing. Here's a thing you can use. You don't have to use it, but you can use. Oh, but you like this costume and you like this perk a little bit better in Spider-Man? You can swap it out. Totally fine. Star Wars, you get a new skin.
Yeah.
That's it.
You do get experience every time you open a crate, just to be clear.
Good.
You get a new skin and a little bit of experience.
I
That's
really
it.
liked because not every Jedi has it. His like ability to like touch something and get like an echo from it. So you're always hearing about like clone troopers battling or Jedi or Eno Cordova doing something. That's a neat power for
I
a
do
video
like
game.
Right.
I do like how the Force Echoes do bring a little bit more of a story to it. That's like I see Jocasta Nu in one of the Force Echoes I see.
Yeah,
I'm like,
Jocasta.
holy shit! I know Cordova was going to
Yeah,
send this to Jocasta and never could because something happened to her.
Seeing the journal pieces filled out so you can like read the story of what happened on the planet is cool.
yeah.
Through Order 66.
Yes.
Because Cordova saw it coming.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just like Qui-Gon.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Satisfied?
think I'm okay.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoy this game. It honestly just makes me want to play Sekiro now. Now that you bought it for me, like I want to play another type of these games that's like done better.
Sure.
Yeah.
What would you give it?
I'd give it an 8.
Okay.
Solid 8.
Okay. Sparks.
I'm at the same point. I'd probably give it a solid 8.
Cool. Ben?
Actually, I'd give it a 7.5.
Not bad.
I think I would give it a solid 8 as well. So Ben, you're outvoted.
Sorry, Ben.
I'm kidding.
All
You must now leave the island.
Oh no.
All right, so I guess that'll do it.
Recommended.
that'll do it.
Yeah.
All of our stuff is on the link in the description. We've got a Birds of Prey review coming up.
Heck yeah.
An interview with Marc Guggenheim.
The Googs.
And right now you can listen to our Pirating Comics episode if you're listening to this.
Fake Nerd
It's up right
Podcast.
now.
On that episode at the top, I talked a little about Dooku Lost, the audio play adventure about Count Dooku, and I forgot to mention a detail I was going to bring up here, which is that there's interactions with Qui-Gon that happen in the second half, and they do lead to you to understand where Qui-Gon's idea of thinking comes in many ways from what Dooku was thinking about the Jedi Order at the time. And not only that, but Dooku has a moment where he tells Qui-Gon, because Qui-Gon is a character in it, and he tells Qui-Gon that he thinks he's the greatest hope the Jedi Order has for the future.
Wow.
Yeah.
I agree.
Hey guys, if you like this game and you're not happy with maybe the movies, watch Star Wars Rebels and pick up Battlefront 2 for really cheap because that has added so much content for free, and now that is a fully fleshed out, robust game that I've really enjoyed coming back to every once in a while. For a Star Wars kick. There you go.
And,
Star Wars Rebels.
And if you tweet about Star Wars games, you should tweet about how they need to make an Asajj Ventress game. Just
She's
saying.
so good.
I just realized that like that's really needed.
Yeah. Thank you to everyone who listens, but either way, thank you to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for doing this.
Thank you.
Thank you to Jeremy Vellucci. for doing our stuffs. Thank you to Mike Mantola for our logos.
Thank you, Dave Filoni, for being a kick-ass Star Wars guy.
Thank you to Dave Filoni and Respawn for making this game.
Yay.
Dave Filoni didn't make this game, but thank you for having a positive influence on the Star Wars franchise.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all at Fake Nerd Podcast, fakenerdguys@gmail.com. I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. Ryan.
I'm at DJ Tony Snark everywhere.
Ben.
You can find me on the internet at bedmagnet27.
Sparkles.
You can find me running away from Darth Vader at Sparks Witty on Instagram and Twitter, SPARKZ Witty.
Avengers.
Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, rate and review wherever you get us. Like, subscribe on
subscribe.
YouTube. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, like, hit that bell icon.
Tell your friends you
Tell
love
your
us.
friends. We're the last people in the whole world to review Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. So
Probably.
rate and review wherever you get us, and leave comments, questions, whatnots. Thanks to everyone who listens. Until next week, guys. May the Force be with you.
Kit Kats.
Oh,
Damn, dog. That is a cat and a half.
that's,
You guys can just keep going.
I can't.
you're too fixated on you and Emma.
Dog, that cat is savage.
There she
You're
goes.
savage. God. Go upstairs. You're drunk.